pretty sure Daniel's going to be going insane this season, and I have proof. I have built a pretty solid case, so I'll give it all to you so that you can decide whether if I'm right or wrong. Where we've left him in season 2, he's become a vampire, right? Well, vampires, they don't have a lot of fun. It's not ideal because you cannot go out into the sun, you cannot meet your loved ones out of fear of hurting them. There's also the fact that you cannot eat, which is like the biggest joy in life. But also, Daniel never asked for this, unless we are shown that it was consensual. For now, all that we have been led to believe is that Armand took Daniel's life without asking.
Fucking asshole.
I'm sorry you were burdened out of spite.
Furthermore, Daniel is alone, which, as has previously been established by Santiago and Lestat, is something that is pretty difficult for vampires. He doesn't have Louis because he's mad at him for publishing the book. He hasn't met Lestat yet, and Armand has left him. It's been 6 years since the pandemic, and during all of that time, all that he had going for himself was his book. A book that, yes, had a lot of success, but wasn't really being believed by humans and wasn't really being embraced by vampires. So he's an outsider for now. When we first see him in Talamaskia, he looks fine. He's signing off books, he's having fun, he's being an extrovert. Then he goes out to meet Guy, and he's kind of menacing and sardonic, the Daniel that we all know and love. But then the mask falls off, and we see a face that's full of sorrow. What I mean by all of this is that Daniel has had a pretty rough 6 years. It's not surprising that when Lestat comes calling for an interview, he agrees. He has nothing going on for himself except for the book, and he wants community. The thing is, Lestat by himself is more than enough to drive anybody insane. But that's beside the point. Eric Bogosian in his interviews has hinted to the fact that he's gonna be having conversations with Armand.
I have to know. There's so much to know that I don't know.
No. That's a quote. That's
There it is. Well, I mean, there's Armand. There's the whole Armand side of things, too. There's a lot to Armand. There's things I got to find out.
And I take this as a pretty much a confirmation that he's going to be remembering things from his past. And those things may not have to do with Devil's Minion, the relationship itself. I think so. I'd like for it to be that way. But I'm pretty sure that he's going to be remembering the hunt. Remembering, as has been established before, is not something fun. From season 1 and 2, we learned that every time he gets a new memory, he also gets visions, nightmares, he cries, he gets sick. So it's not a cool process. And now it's not just one memory from 1973, it's going to be many things for at least 2 years of his life. So if you think of Daniel's mind as a puzzle, there would be so many pieces that he doesn't really know how to put together. And these pieces he would have to evaluate one by one. But they're not something that you kind of want to stop and look into because they are horrible. And so I'm pretty sure that his mind's going to be scrambled for a while because he's going to need some me time, which can be translated to I'm going to go batshit crazy for a little bit just so that I can accept everything that I've been through before I put up with it. I know that in the books, Daniel is not supposed to go crazy until Queen of the Damned. I know that. Even so, he also wasn't supposed to become a vampire until Queen of the Damned either. He also wasn't supposed to be 70. The AMC isn't afraid of editing the narrative a little bit if it's going to be good for the flow of the show. But they are very faithful to the content. And Daniel becoming insane is kind of a major point for the character's arc. So they have to put it somewhere, right? But where would they put it? Because in the books, the main reason why Daniel goes crazy is that he's turned during a moment in his life in which he's a junkie, he's overdosed, he's seen lots of stuff, his mind is breaking, etc. And so when the changing takes place, it does so in a wrong way. Here, that's not the case. He's been a vampire for 6 years and he's been able to feed himself, not go out into the sun. He's sane. So the change will have to come in some other sort of way. The more probable option is him becoming crazy due to psychological issues such as remembering many things that Armand did to him. Also, Eric Bogosian posted a picture of his eye where the skin surrounding it is completely burned off. And this could be, of course, because Daniel has put himself in a pretty dangerous situation. He's touring with Lestat right now. He's written this book. He's writing another one. And we know from the teaser that Lestat is going to be attacked by vampires. Why not also Daniel? You know, the focus doesn't all have to be in Lestat. But there is also the possibility that either Daniel decided to hurt himself or that he was so crazy he didn't realize he was doing it, which kind of happens in the books. He doesn't know how to take care of himself. I'm leaning more towards the first possibility, him trying to hurt himself like Louis did, because the memories are so bad. And this is the most important thing, I believe. Daniel was made suicidal by Armand in 1973, and he was a boy who wanted to live.
Everything happening in the city. I'm a bright young reporter with a point of view.
But at the end, Armand wins by telling him things such as,
"You already know who you'll be. An ugly duplex back in Modesto. A job in an office with drab carpets and flickering lights. A woman in the mold of your mother. Vacuuming on Valium. A genteel drinking problem like your father. Your wife counting down your thrusts. Your children shying away from you. All the confidence and hope of your youth replaced by a seething, boiling regret."
If you think about it, almost everything that Armand says becomes true in Daniel's life. He just doesn't remember that he once was willing to give up on life if it were to happen to him. Like, he's had 2 divorces. His daughters won't even talk to him. I wouldn't go as far as to say that he has an alcoholic problem, but he does love martinis very much. As for his apartment and the journalist career, debatable on the did he get it or not. Emphasizing on the he. Okay, maybe someone who has won a Pulitzer can afford an apartment such as one that he has in Brooklyn. I don't know, I haven't checked the salary. But the fact that there is a sky painting on the ceiling, that was such an unnecessary detail. The art team literally had to get up there and paint it. And they wouldn't have done that unless they had a good reason. So, you know. Also, the whole postman thing.
The bylaws of my co-op say only the mailman can have the key that opens up all the mailboxes. So did you guys get to my mailman?
What if it wasn't about the postman? What if it's just that Armand owns the apartment so he can ask anyone to slip in a package? As for his journalistic career, I do believe that he would have chosen that path had it not been given to him in order to override the suicidal tendencies. But we will never know, neither will he, because the choice was ultimately taken away from him.
That's the job. It's not a complicated job other than how it'll mess with your life.
But it's not that I wanted to focus on, it's more the editorial. If you look closely in Haight-Ashbury, you'll see that the name of the editorial is Roman Wise. Roman as in Mary's Romanus, Wise as in Bianca. I do believe that Armand was the owner of the editorial that published Daniel's books, and even after the breakup, he wanted to take care of the boy and make sure that he would have a job, be published, be someone. But Daniel won't necessarily see it this way once he finds out, and he's gonna find out because he's a very good journalist. The only thing he does know, and it is true, is that ever since the night he met Louis in 1973, his life has not been his. He hasn't had any control of the narrative, and if we're right, not even Alice was really Alice. All of that is more than enough to drive somebody crazy. He's gonna break down. He's gonna crash out, and it's gonna be such a valid crash out. And I believe that that is gonna be good for them in the long run, for Armand and him, because Armand has always seen himself as a victim and as someone who knows better. And now he's gonna have to face the fact that he hurt the one he loves so much that he broke his mind. And he's kind of gonna have to man up and stop choosing himself all the time. I want to see that, so I'm really excited for Eric playing the insane crazy guy at the end of season 3. Yeah, that's about it. I'm really proud of the case I've built, and I think it's really solid. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.